You can tell everybody. You can tell. Oh God, my. Oh no, because my shorts are blue. They don't like show up all the way. That kind of sucks. Oh, I have no legs. So if I like, oh, oh, oh no, oh no, oh no. It's kind of funny that my whole body starts fading away. I've gone to the void or some shit. Let's see. I forgot to go post this and going live, yo. Everybody tell me what's going on. Get away. It's your boy Insane Gang Geek. We're talking about the sweet two impressions. What's good to Ryan? So how you doing? So, what's good, bro? Sorry for the late stream, guys. I meant to do this earlier, and I'm be real with you. I got home from work and I passed out, and it was bad. This is worse actually. I'm trying to eat an ice cream sandwich on stream. If this bitch breaks, it's gonna be bad. Ooh. It's already cold, bro. Oh my God. So is the Switch 2 is or not dick on the ground? There's been a lot of discourse, y'all. There's been a lot of discourse around the Switch 2's announcement, around the Switch 2's launch, around the games. And it's funny because I think it's funny that the Switch 2 is now the most successful, is already breaking records, and it's only been out for a little bit over a week. I think it's been out for like, was it 8 days, I think, officially. And the disrespect has been crazy. And I think it's a little insane because it's crazy that we're still in the era of Nintendo getting discredited in a completely different way, which is kind of wild to me. I'm just typing something real quick. Haven't got one yet, waiting for Pokemon or a good deal. That's perfectly fine. So, there's been a lot of wild comments and conversations going on, bro. Got too much on Nintendo Switch to play anyways. I mean, you say that, but you could literally... it's not like you can't play these games on Switch 2, but hey, it's money. This is a luxury. This isn't a necessity, so it's fine. All right, it's gone. I wanted to finish eating the ice cream sandwich because I knew if I tried to do it while the ice cream sandwich was still hot, it wasn't gonna work. So they do have a list. You are right, Mel. You are right. That's fair. So the Switch 2 has been out for about 8 days. And there's been a lot of discourse, a lot of disrespect. I keep getting like random smacks as a Nintendo fan. And I'm like, yo, y'all gonna have to chill out because y'all getting a little bit wild with this, bro. Like, and to give context, so to give an example. I think when people talk about it, like, oh, well, you know, the Nintendo Switch 2 isn't really a new console. It's just an iteration. And I'm like, wait a minute, we're not doing this, okay? Like we're getting like it's weird because we're getting like what I feel is like we jabs where we're like picking at things that we can't just outright disrespect them over, but we can throw in little things. Because only Nintendo gets to deal with this type of shit, and I think that's the part that pisses me off, right? Oh, well, Nintendo Switch 2 isn't really a real upgrade. It's not a real sequel console. It's more of like a pro edition than anything else. I'm like, whoa, we're not doing that. We're not about to get really disrespectful here just because you're bored, all right? Because it's getting a little wild and disrespectful. I don't care for it. The other thing that's been coming up is like, well, Nintendo doesn't really sell off of hardware. I thought gamers pay. I forget the old dude's name, but he was like, oh, it's the guy who does those shorts. And it's like from the perspective of someone watching an announcement, and then he does little comments and stuff on it. But the thing that annoys me, he was like, "Oh well, I thought gamers cared about performance and a price proposition when looking into a new console. But when it comes to Nintendo, I guess all they care about is nostalgia." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why we throwing shots like Nintendo only got nostalgia going on?" I think really what people want to do, and I think this is really, let's be real here, what it is. People are reluctantly having to deal with the Switch 2, and they're not happy about it, which unfortunately was the same problem we had with the Wii. I've seen a lot of falling out of love with Nintendo videos, and I'm like, guys, yeah, this is the most dramatic shit I've ever seen in my life. We're doing this again. We're doing this weird like narrative where we're trying to change how people feel about Nintendo consoles because we always have to put them down in some way, shape, or form. People don't use the same mindset with PlayStation and Xbox. I don't get it. Nintendo's going to sell the most, I'm guessing, yet they still get hate. There are people out here saying that Nintendo said you don't own your games or something, so they think it's okay to download emulators. It's screwed up. I think my problem with the emulation conversation will always be you're trying to use the best possible argument to defend emulation as if it's the main argument, and it's not. In most cases, people don't give a fuck about any of that shit. You think when I downloaded music off of LimeWire, it was because I already owned the album? No, I wanted free music. It's the same thing when it comes to emulating games. Yeah, I could own the original game and dump it and do all that shit. Am I actually going to do that? No, because that's not why you get an emulator. You get an emulator because it's convenient to go download an emulator, go download a ROM, and then run the game. That's literally why people get emulators. People want to keep taking this holier than thou approach when it comes to what they're doing, as if everyone in their grandma is on some moral high horse. No, I have friends who just do it because it's convenient. They want to play Pokemon on their phones. They want to play the main games on their phones. So what they do, they go download an emulator and get a ROM and they play Pokemon on their phones. It's not a morality thing. In most cases, it's never. People want to act like it's about morality. It never is. The majority of people who take shit take it because they're able to and it's free. That's the whole point. And here's my thing. I'm not mad at the individuals for doing it because, hey, I did it, right? I went out here and got on LimeWire and pulled down a bunch of songs for albums I never bought, right? I did that exact shit. I recognize that it's just because it was free and available. I'm not mad at other people for doing the same thing. I'm mad at people who keep acting like the morality of it is the bigger picture. I'm like, no, because if we cared about morals, the world wouldn't be as fucked up as it is. Like human beings don't care about morals in the way that I think they want to pretend like they do, and I don't like this disingenuous like idea that this is the point. Nobody is considered a good person. Well, there are a few people, Orion, but it's like 1%. It's like the 0.5% of humanity is considered like truly honest to good people. The rest of us are just dickheads to varying degrees, and then you have the other side of the spectrum of just pure fucking evil, right? That's our range. It's the very small percentage of truly good people, the rest of humanity, and then true evil. That's it. That's our ranges, okay? Now that gray area is a huge gray area, but none of us are like truly good people. We're just human. That's it. It's just the standard is just being in the middle with to varying degrees. I remember my thug years of stealing snacks, cards, and games. Bro, everybody has had their shitty moments. I'm not even saying to be proud of it or nothing, but I want people to stop acting like that isn't a part of like how people behave and act. Well, you know, what about game preservation? Listen, that's a nice sentiment. Most people don't care. You know how many people, you know how many gamers actually care about games preservation? Like 5% of gamers. Most gamers just want to play a video game, enjoy a video game. When I say care about game preservation, I don't mean that you think it's a good idea. I mean that you actively will do things or promote things that preserve games. You're actively trying to preserve the games. Most people don't do that. Most people turn on a console, download a code for a game or a CD or a cartridge, and then play the fucking game. That's what we do. And that's fine. Once again, we're gamers. We just want to enjoy games. That's perfectly normal. But people want to keep acting like, well, game preservation matters. Does it matter in the long run? Not. I mean, if you're talking about preserving a form of art, yeah, sure. But it's not like it's not the core reason. But I don't like that we're doing the weird jabs again. Oh, well, you know, Nintendo doesn't really need to sell on hardware. Oh, so now we're playing the hardware issue. I think I saw a little bit of Juice's video. I think he's streaming right now, talking about how he's not gonna buy like third-party games on the Switch too, or unless there's like a significant reason to. I'm like, Juice, you weren't gonna buy third-party games on Switch regardless. It would have to be one of those games that like blew you away just because it exists, like how Doom was. Doom. The reason why he bought Doom is because Doom blew him away, not because that was the version of Doom you should play. Because that's not what Juice is. Juice is like, yeah, it'd be nice to have games that run at 60 frames on Switch. Yeah, but let's be real here. You still care about graphical fidelity. So what is he going to probably do with his Switch? He's going to do exactly what I think he did with his Switch 2 is exactly what he did with his Switch 1. He'll buy mostly Nintendo games, third-party exclusives, and maybe the occasional Miracle port if it appeals to him. Now, I'm in a weird position because in the first time in my life, I own every single modern console, I guess, save for like a Steam Deck, but that's not really content I can't currently get on my PC or Game Pass right now. So I'm not going to pretend like that's something different. When I look at this, I'm a Nintendo fan. So, of course, the core reason why I would get this is because I like Nintendo games. And guess what? That means if I want to play Nintendo games, I have to own a Nintendo console, right? That would be the core base reason. On the other side of the coin, I like my handhelds. I grew up on handhelds. I probably have more induction in handhelds than I do in console gaming because handhelds were just, it very much fit a child demographic. And at the time, I was a kid with the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance SP, DS, DS Lite, DSi, 3DS, 3DS XL, new 3DS, new 2DS XL. Like that, I was inducted into the handheld lifestyle, so that's what I played. Now, to talk about the Switch 2 a little bit, and I'm gonna jump back and forth between stuff because this is how I feel about it. People are so serious about this. I just don't get it. I'm gonna get third-party games. Like there's so many good ones. Yakuza, Fantasy Life, Room Factory. Yeah, but see that's because of who you are. I don't get people who just like Nintendo. You're setting yourself up for failure with a mindset like that. They're a popular channel that appears to only care about Nintendo. Well, I mean that's because it's very much a my side or yours situation. See, that's why the console wars existed in the first place. That's why you had Xbox only guys. That's why you had PlayStation only guys. That's why you have Nintendo only guys. All those groups still exist, but the most prominent nowadays is Nintendo because PlayStation's been putting their games on Steam slowly. So PlayStation guys are slowly losing their minds in the background. And then Xbox gave up like, 2 generations ago, it feels like. Probably Xbox One generations when they truly gave up. Xbox Series has never been like I'm gonna compete to be the best. Like, no, Xbox Series does not care about being the best at this point. Xbox Series cares about its brand and logo being everywhere and anywhere. And I guess technically I haven't talked about games, the Summer Games Fest or any of the other announcements we got because, I reacted to all that, so you can see my initial reactions to those things and on stream currently, except for maybe the Xbox one because they got blocked for a piece of audio, which is a fun experience, but it is what it is. But if I had to talk about the Switch 2 as a console, it took me a while to kind of get adjusted to it. The weight is definitely noticeable in handheld mode. I like playing handheld, but I will say in recent years I play less and less of it. Partially just because the problem is my setup doesn't really justify me using handheld, but I still use it occasionally. Because my issue is this: if I want to talk to my friends on Discord and get on the game, guess where I'm going to be? In here, where my 3 monitors and the dock is. So it's kind of bad. Realistically, I won't really be able to handheld this as much unless I'm going out with it, which as of currently, I haven't really done. I haven't really tested the kickstand either. I do like the OS. I like that everything runs smoother. I like the boost that we've gotten to games, unofficial or not. Although it's obvious that some of these, since the Switch 2 isn't technically running them natively, they're running them off of emulation. It's a little weird, but it seems like a decent chunk of games just straight benefited from having a proper... just benefited from the fact that the console was more powerful, so they were able to hit their proper target frame rates and resolutions, which is cool. But of course, if you care that much about, I think the frame rate thing was the biggest deal for me. I could take a shitty resolution if my frame rate was good, and now that my frame rate is good, I don't really care about the resolution issue. I think Juice was comparing like the Street Fighter V demo, and I'm just like, I don't really understand the point of the conversation at this point. There is no way we're going to have a conversation where Street Fighter V is going to look better on Switch 2 than it is on Steam or PlayStation 5 or that's not interesting to me. What's the point of that conversation? What's even the point of the comparison? The only reason why I would care about the comparison is just to see how close Switch 2 can get. But in terms of me actually caring about the visuals, if I want a third-party game on Switch, I'm going to get it on Switch. That's just how I feel about it. My 2 mixes right now have been mainly Switch and Xbox. I've been playing a lot of Game Pass stuff, and I'm back into my Switch grind. And even though I have my issues with the console, for the most part, I like the Switch 2 a lot. I like the layout. The game chat thing is surprisingly good. The audio quality for game chat is really good. The mic for the Switch 2 has thoroughly impressed me. I like the slickness and kind of the newness of feel of the console. I love the magnetic Joy-Cons. The Pro Controller took me a minute because the Pro Controller has this the finish on the handles of the controller is different, and it feels a little weird to hold for me personally. It was irritating my hands. But I have eczema, mind you, so my skin's a little bit more sensitive than others. But this is smooth as hell versus where's the Switch 1? Here we go. Where this has a grip on it. This actually has you can feel the grooves in the handles, and that feels better to me. But I've slowly gotten used to this. I haven't really used the back pedals for anything yet, but that's a personal opinion. I just don't. I gotta get used to something I never had before, essentially. Obviously, once I start really experimenting with the back pedals, I will truly enjoy the back pedals. But for right now, I also see what they were saying about the analog sticks, where they felt like they said the analog sticks felt like they were gliding. They absolutely do. They feel like, even though it doesn't really feel like they're hitting. They're actually hitting the edge of the I guess the casing, right? It doesn't necessarily feel the same. You can feel it on other parts of the controller, but not for this. The sticks definitely feel really good, so I have no problems with that. I'm not a D-pad guy, so the D-pad thing doesn't mean as much to me as of right now. I haven't used it a lot. I've only really messed around with Switch 1 games that got boosts and patches, and then Mario Kart World. Although I was debating on getting Bravely Default, I was like, I don't really need it. Plus, since this console properly supports its previous console, we're dealing with the fun process of dealing with a console that is now trying to pull all your information from the last console, which is cool. But the bad news is you run out of storage absurdly quick. I'm already out of storage. I bought so much on the original console. 256 is just not enough, bro. And I was debating on buying another 256, but I'm like, well, that's $60 for 256, and more than likely, I was rocking a terabyte on Switch One. So, what am I gonna do here? What's the goal here? And the answer is I don't know. So now I'm dealing with Switch falling into the same hole as PlayStation and Xbox, where I gotta pick and choose what game I'm gonna delete and then re-download when I want to play it, which sucks, but it is kind of the nature of gaming, modern gaming nowadays. It's not really a Switch 2 issue, that's just modern gaming in general. Yeah, that's kind of the goal. And besides, the main games I have planned to buy are all first party titles. So like I'm not overly concerned with it right now. Now when we start getting some quality third party support, that's when I'll get like, oh damn, I probably need a card. Cause like Juice was talking about, oh, there's certain games I just don't have a reason to buy those games on Switch 2. I'll give you an example. If they re-release Resident Evil 2 remake properly on Switch 2, yeah, it's getting bought. That's getting bought. Because I like that game a lot and I love to play. If I get a Hi-Fi Rush, that's getting bought. Hell, I bought Persona 4 Golden twice. Technically once, because the first time it was gifted to me on PC, and then I bought it properly on Switch 2. So certain titles are getting bought. There are certain games I would just like to play on my handheld than play in console. So for me, the Switch 2 experience has been mostly positive. I do wish the Joy-Cons were a little bit thicker on the back. Because them being these flat pieces just doesn't click for me. I do like the new magnet system, and that is awesome. Like the magnet thing is super cool. I haven't tried the mouse thing yet, so I can't really talk about the mouse thing. It doesn't, but my table was already kind of set up for a mouse anyway, so I think I'll be fine with the mouse situation. Also, fun fact, you can actually put these on the wrong way. Because they're magnets and then there's no real like groove to stop them from being open one way or the other. You can put these like, well, not on the grip, but like on the console itself, you can put them like upside down and it still works perfectly fine. But I love the magnet. The magnet thing is cool. I like that they're bigger. This actually feels like a viable controller. Still, I bought the Pro Controller anyway because I know I'm gonna buy it. But realistically, this has been a pretty enjoyable console launch. I did have some problems. The first problem I had is I think Nintendo servers got slammed the night of, because even though it was the day of, I still couldn't download Mario Kart until I gave it like 4 or 5 hours. Like the midnight release, I think, was so slammed that when everyone got home to start their Switches at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, Nintendo was like, bro, we can't do it. And so I had to when I woke up at 6 for work, then I could download Mario Kart properly. Mario Kart, by the way, is fucking gorgeous. But see, y'all should know, and I've already openly told you, I'm not like Mario Kart was never like the game for me, right? Like I like Mario, right? And I like Mario Kart, but it wasn't like the game that was gonna make me go, whoo, that's Nintendo. Like I enjoy it, and I know everyone else is gonna play it and enjoy it. But for me personally, I'm just kind of I'm leisurely enjoying it. I'm just playing the game. Remember, this Mario Kart will be the Mario Kart for the next like 6-7 years. So I'm not necessarily in the rush to burn myself on. Like officially, I haven't even beaten all the cups yet. I've just been casually doing some cups, a bunch of multiplayer stuff, and then I'm chilling. That's how I'm handling Switch 2 stuff, and that's perfectly fine for me. But like I said, I like the eShop, I like Game Chat. I do wish we had a messaging system. I really do wish we have a messaging system. I'm glad the Nintendo app got updated to now it kind of reminds me. If anything, put the messaging on the phone. Put it on the Nintendo app on your phone. I still wish the Nintendo Music was something I could play on my console. If I gotta pay for it anyway, I don't see why you couldn't add it to the console so I could have background music if I wanted to. Especially because the app is pretty good, all things considered, other than the trickle down of content. But then again, that's Nintendo in general's problem. Like that's just what we're dealing with as Nintendo fans, is getting this trickle down of just content in general. Hey, look, here's a game. Here's an N64 game. Here's a GameCube game. Here's a Game Boy Advance game. Here's a random Sega Genesis game. And here's a song for the week. Now, granted, the songs have been a lot more consistent. Can physical game cards from the Switch 1 work on the Switch 2? Yeah, they can. I was practicing with these games actually. I did it with ARMS. I did it with Xenoblade 2. I did it with Bayonetta 3. And I did it with Pokemon Sword. Pokemon Sword didn't really change too much because only really one part of it's really hard. To be honest, I think Nintendo Switch Online app should still have voice chat just because if Nintendo tries too hard to protect people, they had a voice chat, might as well add texting. Yeah, I agree. I would rather, at this point, I wish you had messaging. There's no real reason not to have, if you're allowing me to do voice chat, and we already saw from like a little bit of the stuff I did with KG, that you can say whatever you want on voice chat, bro, just let me get messaging. Just let me get proper messaging. That's all I want, bro. I'm a simple man. It doesn't take much to appease me. But put in the effort to appease me, damn it. But that's just me. That's just me personally. What else? I'm trying to think of what else with the console. I think the reason why it doesn't feel like crazy, it's kind of in the same, it kind of falls into, I guess Zelda updated. What? I just pulled this thing out of the dock. I like how big it is. I like the way this feels. If you hold it like this though, it will hurt your palms after a while. Like I can't sit in certain positions with this. I have to kind of like do this. If I do this, I'm perfectly fine. But if I do this where it's like the weight is on my palms, I will be like, damn, this sucks. And so I have to do this because my fingers are, weirdly enough, my fingers take the weight better than my palms do. But I like it a lot. It's weird because it feels smoother. It just feels like a new experience to me, which is why I think it's crazy to be like, well, it's not really a new experience. The online, we have not done just Switch 2 only online stuff other than Mario Kart. And Mario Kart has been in an interesting mix of, why is my mother calling me? God damn, yo, what is this? Hold on, guys. Hello? It seems like no matter when I stream, my mother's gonna interrupt me. It just kind of fucks me up, bro. It generally fucks me up. No matter what is going on, my mother is going to interrupt me. I'm not even streaming at the normal time I normally stream. This is later than usual, and she still caught me lacking, bro. Also, it's raining, which I'm a little concerned with. It's been raining a lot here. I'm kind of sick of it. Since this is the first batches of Switch 2s, there's going to be some issues with them. That's why I don't buy first batches of consoles. That's fair, but like my launch Switch didn't really have any problems. And there's been a lot of Switch content. There's been a lot of Switch 2 content online. We've seen people try to stress test it in terms of breaking it, and it holds up pretty well. Overall, I've been pretty happy with the console. Obviously, Nintendo will make another iteration because they always do that. Same thing with their handhelds. There's never just one version of the console. And with Nintendo Switch, it'll be the same thing. We'll have Nintendo Switch 2 OLED. We'll have Nintendo Switch 2 Lite. We might even have Nintendo Switch 2 3D. Not because it needs to do it, but because, it's Nintendo. Nintendo's going to experiment, which always gets back into like a conversation that I think a lot of people don't want to have, which is that Nintendo is the way Nintendo approaches gaming. The way I always view Nintendo in the gaming space is like an artist, and I mean like the stereotypical eccentric artist. Like it's like you're a Da Vinci, and you want to like paint with your feet in the air because somehow the blood rushing through your head creates a more interesting, elegant vision of the art you want to paint. It's raining right now. I'm so pissed, bro. If the power goes off, I'm gonna be mad as fuck. It waited until 9:52 to be like, bro, you know what we should do? Rain. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Also, why are people asking for my IG, dog? It is not that deep. Why is it raining right now is what's throwing me off. Like it's freaking. Oh, great! It's gonna be raining hard for the next few hours, guys. This is gonna suck. Since this is the first batches. Oh yeah, they're definitely doing a Pokemon one. They did what? Didn't they do a Splatoon 2 one? They did a Pokemon one. Actually, they did multiple Pokemon ones. They did for Scarlet and Violet, and they did it for Lucky Me. Bro, I'm tired of rain, dog. Rain, it leads to humidity. Humidity leads to mold. I'm sick of it all, yo. I'm sick of it all, bro. And my coworker's being weird and it's ticking me off. I'm mad, bro. I'm mad, yo. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. I'm trying to. Somebody's asking for IGs, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm slightly distracted because this shit keeps happening to me. Give me 1 second. Sorry, hold on. She's probably gonna call me and it's gonna piss me off because I'm like, bro. Somehow, like it's something. This is something I've been mentioning casually. I've been getting like more popular with humans, and it's starting to like confuse the shit out of me. Oh, the Splatoon spinoff is cool as fuck. It makes me happy that we're not just getting a fourth game because I was very terrified we were gonna get a fourth game just because the new console's out. Which is why I think this year is going to be interesting because it's very much a lull year. It's coming. The Switch 2 is coming out in a year in which it's too late for it's too late. No. It's too early to give me a new game, but it's too late for the last game to show up on the console. So for example, Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Engage is only like 2 years old. So if we're getting another Fire Emblem game, it'd be in like in the next year or two. Well, that means the Switch 2 can't get a Fire Emblem that quickly. Same thing goes for like Splatoon 3. It's only been like I think a year or two since Splatoon 3. Like we're in this weird like in between where like certain games you can't expect sequels to yet because well, we've only had like it's only been a couple years. It hasn't been like long enough for them to develop a game. The only game I'm like definitely expecting next year is Pokemon. Even Monolith Soft, who seems to be like the backbone of Nintendo right now. I would like to see their new IP next year or whatever thing they're doing next, but still. I'm not really into Splatoon, but if they can make it an adventure game, I'll definitely play. Splatoon, I think, is trying to save itself from falling into the Call of Duty hole because I got scared. I think what scared me is when Splatoon 2 and 3 both came out on the Switch. Splatoon 3 coming out that soon fucked with me because Splatoon can easily fall into Call of Duty hell, and I don't want it to do that. I want it to still be fresh to me because I played the hell out of 2, and then 3 came out, and I was like, I don't want to do this again. Not this soon. Like, but see, as a shooter, Splatoon kind of lends itself to being pseudo, not yearly, but like coming out multiples in a generation. But if they can do like maybe 2 mainline Splatoon games a generation with a spin-off floating in the middle, I think that's fine because it keeps me like engaged. Bro, there's like 5 or 6 Pokemon themed 3DSs. Of course, we're definitely getting Pokemon ones. Pokemon ones are definitely are always going to be in the running for special edition consoles. I'm not really into Splatoon, but if they make it an adventure game, I'm definitely play. Lord. What else was I gonna address? The big issue the Switch 2 has right now is just that the only game that people really want. Also, I guess we should talk about the fact that the Switch 2 is now is already breaking records early into its life cycle, and we're only a little bit over a week into it. I'm a little surprised. I guess the question is if it's going to maintain this momentum. Is DK going to help it maintain its momentum? Is Metroid Prime going to maintain its momentum? Is fucking Donkey Kong going to maintain its momentum? I also think it's important to acknowledge that certain games are already on the bestsellers list. Like if you get on the eShop, and I think they even reported the 3 best-selling games on the Switch 2 is obviously Mario Kart World, but Cyberpunk and then freaking Tears of the Kingdom Upgrade. Now, 2 of those games are really obvious, but the fact that Cyberpunk is there is a big deal. Like, even looking at the screen, freaking Cyberpunk being number 2 over Zelda is wild. But I think that's important to note that means to third parties, there is a value on the console to invest in. And I want them to do that. And then if you go down the list, you have Fantasy Life, Deltarune, then Breath of the Wild Upgrade, then Welcome Tour, then Bravely Default, then No Man's Sky. Now, granted, No Man's Sky is a weird game for me because it definitely went from being like a, hey, this game is trash and you fucked all this up to, it's a pretty good thing, even offering a free Switch 2 upgrade. It's hell, No Man's Sky right now is outselling Street Fighter 6 on Switch 2 and Split Fiction. So I'm glad to see. I don't really care about Cyberpunk. I want that to be clear, yo. For me personally, Cyberpunk means nothing. All right, that's no disrespect to Cyberpunk, but for me, I just nothing about that game ever screamed like I gotta play it, right? But the fact that it's a game that every modern gamer really likes and that it's still selling well even on the Switch 2 is very important to me. And it's also important that we have way more like console PC hybrid situations going on, because that means now there's more of a lane for Switch 2 development to be important. Now, granted, Nintendo always will have the issue because Nintendo One is the weakest, is on the bottom tier of power with that kind of stuff. But also, what makes it a problem is that Nintendo's the only one who's doing physical media. Physical media for this kind of lane is the scariest thing. Hence why we've always had Switch tax or SD card issues or, currently $80 games, right? Nintendo is in a lane where they're the only one doing physical. And as a result, that means that there's not enough people in the space to justify cheapening the price of the materials. Now, eventually it will become cheaper again. But it's gonna be just more of just over time. It's not gonna be like the simple, hey, things are just cheap now. Like, no, it's gonna be a slow crawl of like over time. I guess it's getting cheaper to produce, and it took even the Switch 1 you were still feeling like you were getting Switch tax on certain third party games on Switch 1. So yeah, and with the game key card thing, which now people aren't happy about. It's going to be rough, but I think development for Switch 2 third-party titles will be a lot more plentiful. In theory, not in practice, but in theory. Because even though the Switch 2 is probably like right there, Switch 2 and Steam Deck would be the weakest of the hybrids, it still wouldn't be so weak. If you could put it on the Steam Deck, you definitely could put it on the Switch 2. It definitely would run. The question is how much money would it take, and what is the potential profit value to do it, if that makes sense. PlayStation does not PlayStation. I'm not talking about PlayStation. I'm talking about like the console hybrid situation. Like they're the only one in that space that has physical games. Regardless of how you feel about Game Key Card, it's still physical material that they have to produce and put in stores. And then I guess we should also talk about the ROG Ally situation. There's been a lot of conversations with the Xbox ROG Ally. I don't give a fuck what anyone wants to say. All the Xbox ROG Ally is a ROG Ally with the Xbox logo and branding on it and native Game Pass. And granted, is native Game Pass great? Absolutely. But we're not going to sit here and pretend like this is an Xbox handheld. It's not. It's a PC handheld with Xbox branding, okay? And some people are like, why you sound like you're trying to diminish their accomplishment. Like, listen, I'm not. Having a PC handheld that has Game Pass, Steam, and emulators and whatever else you want to put on that thing is great. A version of Windows that isn't as bloated with a bunch of shit wear on it. It's great, okay? It's cool. And especially with PlayStation games on Steam, you essentially now have the other three consoles in the form of a fucking Steam Deck situation, right? And it's cool. It's awesome. I'm not gonna deny the quality of the situation, but I'm also not gonna give Xbox credit for something in the context of you made a handheld. You didn't make a handheld. You latched onto an existing brand. Like when people talk about the Switch, it wasn't like we had something called the Switch and then Nintendo's version was just the Nintendo Switch. No, we never had a Switch before the Switch. With Xbox, there are already cases of the ROG Ally existing. So we're not going to sit here and pretend like all of a sudden we didn't have those things. Just woke up and I late. You are late. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Revolver. It's okay, bro. But yeah, like it's not the same thing. People want to act like it's the same. It's not the same thing. The Switch 2 or the Switch, they were the only branding of Nintendo Switch. With the Xbox ROG Ally, the ROG Ally and the Legion Go and things like that already existed. It's even from the same brand who made those other things. So we're not going to pretend like all of a sudden the Xbox made their unique handheld. This is not an Xbox handheld. This is a handheld with it's almost like an Xbox collaboration if anything else. But I'm not giving them the respect for that. And this thing's also going to be expensive as fuck. I'm also curious if they're going to properly sell it in stores. And even if they do, because the fact that they're being so secretive with the pricing, and granted, people could say the same thing about Nintendo, right? Nintendo was secretive with the pricing, but I don't think the ROG Ally, knowing how much the other Asus ROGs cost, you're not gonna convince. Like if I look at the ROG, just the ROG, if I just look at it right now, how much do they normally cost? The ROG Ally currently is. I'm gonna look up both versions. This one is. Come on. This one is $650. The other one, damn, this thing doesn't even. Damn, you can't even find this one. Let me see. Is it here? This one's $500. So at the cheapest it could possibly be is $500, which is a little bit which is about what a Switch bundle is. But that version you can't even buy anymore. And you're also talking about one that's better than this. You're talking about a console that's gonna be better than both of these. And the one of these is fucking, what is this? This is almost $700. So more than likely, considering all this stuff that the Xbox Ally is touting, you're not going to convince me that that thing's going to be somehow cheaper. It's not at all, actually. If we look at the handheld console, you're spending somewhere between $500 to $700 just on that. And that's the one that doesn't necessarily have the Xbox connectivity to it. So I don't see it being cheaper. Yeah, I don't see it being cheaper, bro. Also, it's using the new Ryzen chip, so I really don't expect it to be cheaper, bro. This is gonna be beyond hoed. So people acting like it's about to blow up and change the game is just hilarious to me. But it is what it is, bro. It is. People gonna say what they're gonna say, but that is gonna be a financial investment. What's up, Richie? Sorry, I missed the chat. Let's see. I tried finding a Switch 2 today. GameStop, Walmart, Target. They were all sold out for 50 miles. Damn, are they? I wonder if I can buy one right now. Costco had them if you are a member. Yeah, you and I both, cowboy. Costco had a drop when I was asleep. Thankful I'm a member, but still. Why buy an Xbox handheld when Microsoft has given up in the console race? I think it's more so, I don't look at it as an Xbox handheld. It's really a PC handheld with Xbox collaboration with it. Because, hey, if you're going to get a handheld, if you're going to get a PC handheld, why not get one that has access to everything? So it's not like, I want to make this clear. It's not like it's a bad product in itself. I just don't like the idea that we're pretending like Xbox made this. No, you didn't. You collaborated with a pre-existing brand and just kind of been like, well, this is our Xbox collaboration. Like calling this their handheld just seems like a lie. Like even the PlayStation Portal seems like more of an actual collaboration than anything else. At least in my opinion, personally. What was I about to look up? Actually, I was gonna see can I buy a Switch 2 right now? Let's look. I actually haven't gone into a store to check. So can I buy a Switch 2 right now? Is it sold out for me? Those are all the games, but where's the console? Give me the console. Give me the console. Console. Damn, those are the games. I cannot buy it off of Walmart. Oh, can't wait. Hold on. Wait. Let me sign in. I'm actually gonna check because I haven't checked. For those in the chat, out of curiosity, can you guys buy? That is not what I wanted. Cancel. Can you guys buy a Switch 2 easily right now? I've seen varying statements, but I'm just curious where everyone's at with it. I just want to see who can and who can't. This is 113315. Sorry, I'm trying to log in. What are you trying to log the fuck in? Okay, let's see. Can I buy a Switch 2 at all? I cannot. Walmart is shot. Let's go to Best Buy. If I could spell Best Buy, that is terrible. Can I buy it from Best Buy? No, it's sold out. Is that both versions or just... That's the bundle. Can I buy... What about the original? I don't think I can buy Switch 2 at all. I think Switch 2 is just out. Yeah. I think they're both sold out. Let me see. Yep, they're both sold out. Okay, let's go GameStop. Can I buy it from GameStop? Because my local GameStop actually had a pretty good amount of like consoles to the point where I walked in and got one. I mean, I did a pre-order that day and got the console. So can I get a Switch 2 right now? I gotta click find a store. Let's pick the one. Well, if I sign in, that'll give me a better idea. I love when GameStop signs me the fuck out. Granted, it's for security reasons, but I'm still mad about it. Because it inconveniences me and I don't like it. Now let me log the fuck in. Okay, now let me go to Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. I said consoles. Why is this the thing? Okay. Can I buy it here? I like how it just says find a store. That's not my... It doesn't really tell me if it's here though or not. It just says find a store. That's very... Yeah, these are all my local stores, but like that doesn't really give me what I was looking for. I'm trying to see if it's available. I'm gonna say no, honestly, but I'm just double checking. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But right now, it's not easy. Oh, yeah, that's right. Target. That's who I forgot to try. Richie, thank you for reminding me of Target. Target is another option I can look for. Let's go see if Target has it available for my area. Yes, you can sign me the fuck in. Can't log the fuck in? Nah, dog. Not at all, bro. Not at all, bro. Also, I forgot Father's Day is Father's Day today or is it coming up? I think it's coming up. Shout out to all the fathers out there representing, taking care of your kids because you love them. We love that. We love the love, bro. I like how the videos game section for Target is just Nintendo Switch on the cover. Where is the console? Where is the console? It's out of stock. The base Switch console is out of stock. What if I check the store? Yeah, all of mine are out of stock. So yeah, the Switch 2 is still hard to find. Some people have made statements that they can get it. I'm like, if you can get it, GG's. But like right now, it's still hard to find. At least online. You might be able to walk in store and get it, but that's about it. But yeah, let me get back to the chat. Sorry about that, guys. Xbox just doesn't have any games. There's no reason to get the handheld. I mean, there are but Game Pass has something, and that's the point. Like give an example. Every game I've been playing lately, Clair Obscur, Hollow Knight, Sunset Overdrive, those are all on Xbox Game Pass. Yakuza, I don't know if Yakuza's still on there, but it was. There's a bunch of stuff. Game Pass has a genuine value. But Xbox, to me, Game Pass's best like appeal is if you don't have a lot of money. If you're someone who can't afford to buy like new games as they come out, Xbox Game Pass is great. It does have its purpose in the industry, and if Xbox is supposedly making money off it, then I'm not mad at it because it does benefit me. I'm taking advantage of the system, so. I mean, as of right now, my least played console is probably PlayStation right now. Mainly because I've just been playing Stellar Blade on it. My PlayStation 5, for the most part, has been a Stellar Blade 2 machine for the longest time. Which I don't know if that's intrinsically a good thing or not, but that's what it's been. It's been a Stellar Blade 2. It's been a Stellar Blade machine for a while now. Increase the mileage in your search. I could do that just for the heck of it. I'm hoping with the third party situation is still like remains to be seen because it's gonna take a while, bro. I'm gonna just be real with you. Show more near you. No, as far as where I'm at, it's just not available. Period. Like you're just not gonna get it, which sucks. But I reckon I understand why. I guess is my point. But I'm happy to see the console doing well. I hope the disrespect stops, but it's probably not going to because people want to talk about how anti-consumer Nintendo is. I do want to say this though. So the way I think of Nintendo, because a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize they were so shady as a business." I'm like, no, all businesses are shady. All of them are shady. The assumption it's easier to assume they're all shady and be pleasantly surprised than to assume they're all good and be disappointed when they're not. The way Nintendo approaches its games, it's like an artist does. Nintendo is the artiest of all artists, which means they suffer from every problem an artist suffers from. Artists are insanely eccentric, which is part of their charm. It makes them unique, and it makes what they create more interesting to look at, or in this case, play, which is why Nintendo games are always good. But it also leads them to do a lot of weird shit that wouldn't make sense in the modern gaming landscape. But the reason why they're willing to do it is because they're weird by nature. Like I heard people go, "Oh, I can't believe." I just thought it was bog standard that they started the Switch 2 off with Mario Kart. Well, okay, first off, we're not gonna pretend like that was always the case. It wasn't. Mario Kart wasn't just always a launch game. It earned that by selling a lot of consoles. Damn it. But the problem is that Nintendo also used to get made fun of and like downplayed for trying to be unique. Remember, we got Luigi's Mansion, right, on the GameCube, and people said, this is not Mario, 3D Mario, what is this trash? Get it out of here, right? And then over time, it slowly became a beloved series. But it's the same thing that always happens. You introduce a game, it doesn't get the feedback you want, and then over the course of the next like decade or so, it gains a level of notoriety, which is cool, but it's annoying because you have to wait for everyone to catch up with the realization that, oh, this is actually pretty cool. And that kind of sucks, right? So Luigi's Mansion took them until the DS before people start, the 3DS before people were like, oh, it's pretty good. And then 3 came out and they went, oh, I can't wait for the 4th one. But that whole eccentric thing from Nintendo always never really worked out for them in a lot of situations. It worked out for the Wii, didn't work out for the Wii U, didn't even work out for the GameCube. It worked out for the Switch, and it's currently working for the Switch too. But but that's the life of being an artist. You're constantly gambling with your ideas and thoughts to come up with something interesting. But that also makes them incredibly crazy and paranoid. Hence why we get the weird legal situations with emulation and mods and music and all this other shit. And unfortunately, I hate the Disney comparison, but in the context of that, they are very much like Disney in that way. The difference between Nintendo and Disney, though, is Disney doesn't put out good products anymore, or at least not the majority of its stuff. A lot of Disney's modern stuff has been absolute trash, garbage, and we're angry because they keep fucking things up for the sake of being different. Whereas Nintendo, its core stuff is usually good, it just doesn't really understand modern era, and it struggles to adapt in certain areas. And as Nintendo fans, we get angry about it, and we get bummed out, and then they put out a new Zelda, and you're like, fuck, it changed the genre over again. We can't even avoid it, dog. It's too good. Fuck. And they'd be like, well, see, that's them preying on your nostalgia. No, because when you say Nintendo's preying on your nostalgia, that implies they're not making good content. Spoiler, they're actually making good content. The reason why your people are saying it the way that they're saying it is to downplay their contribution to the industry, which I think is disrespectful. But what people need to be honest with themselves is this: they make good ass games. That's why people still fuck with them. Fuck the nostalgia. Can that be a part of it? Sure. But it ain't like PlayStation is not old enough or Xbox isn't old enough to play that same stupid game. Okay? We're not going to do the holier than thou nonsense. Because I know what's up. I know the number. I read the books. I got the accounting on. I own Astrobot Retro. I own Astrobot Red Dragon. I just haven't I haven't played it, but I do own it. Yes, the Xenoblade 2 background. By the way, that game runs at like a lock 30 now, and it's fucking beautiful. I love it. What else did I miss? The issue with Game Pass is that it's not sustainable in the long term. Also promotes not buying games. Well, I mean, we're already kind of going in that direction anyway. Let's be real here. They don't want you to buy games. And actually, people are buying less games anyway. You know what they're doing? They're downloading shit digitally. Nintendo's digital's been up. Sony's digital is up. Xbox's digital stays up because what the fuck? You can't even find physical releases of half of Xbox's games, okay? We're not going to sit here and pretend like it's readily available. It absolutely isn't. It's not. And that's the problem. People didn't have arguments until the $10 price hike. They wanted to say this with the original Switch, but couldn't. Oh, absolutely. Nintendo, unfortunately... Nintendo hate doesn't really pop up until there's something either controversial or negative going on. Then people feel justified to get away with it. It's the same thing with the console wars. Everyone wanted to talk about who was the better console, PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, as if the Wii wasn't killing them both in sales. The Wii was the winner of that generation, and people don't even talk about it like that because they didn't want to include Nintendo into the conversation. But when the Wii U came out and started struggling, man, they dogged Nintendo out like crazy. That's why your games are never good. That's why I grew up with Nintendo, but Nintendo didn't grow up with me. That's why I look at all these third party games are skipping the console. This ain't for adults. This is for kids. Da 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 da. And it was all anger and frustration built up during the Wii era on top of Wii U criticisms that just snowballed it. Which is why the Nintendo community is probably a lot more tight knit than like the rest of the gaming community. Not saying we're perfect, and I don't think we are. I don't think we'll ever be perfect because we got some weird dudes in our community just like everybody else. But we felt this bond partially because we were all getting bullied for a console that was generally good that no one cared about because it wasn't Xbox 360 good. It wasn't PlayStation 3 good. It wasn't PlayStation 4 good. It wasn't Xbox, well, it wasn't PlayStation 4 good. I was going to say Xbox One, but I thought that might be a little disrespectful to do that. So we're not going to do that, guys. I wouldn't put you guys in that awkward position by pretending like the Xbox console was out here killing the game. We know that wasn't true. We know that will never be true. So I want to give you guys a couple of like life updates. I am going to cut this stream short only because I have something I want to do tonight. And I'm under a time limit, apparently, from what I've just learned. But I want to talk about a couple things. First things first, I have been on the grind to become partnership on this channel since January. And we're almost there. If anyone knows the requirements to become partnered on YouTube, you have to get 3,000 hourly watch views, I believe is what it's specifically called. I'm going to fuck that up. Let me go look it up specifically so I say this right, because I'm going to say it wrong and it's going to make me angry later. What is it called? It is 3,000. It's 3,000. Where is it? Damn, my brain cut off. 3,000 valid public watch hours. That's what it is. And I've been grinding it. And right now we're a little bit under 200 away. I'm at 2,839 public hours. So I only need like another 160 something to like kill it, right? So I want to grind that out. And I'm going to play a specific game once we hit the mark. And everyone's going to laugh because I don't like the game. And I fell asleep the last time we played the game, but we had to do a proper redemption of the game. And I can play it on Switch 2 where it'll probably run better. But that's a whole other issue. Most of you know I'm talking about Altaria Ryza. I might even do like a sleep challenge. Keep me up challenge. With Altaria Ryza, because this game might put me the fuck out. Second thing is I'm on vacation this week. My birthday is June 16th, and I wanted to get partner before then. I'm close, but the way the eligibility stuff kicks in, it's based off of like previous days. So for example, today's the 13th, but the eligibility is based off of June 8th. Like it's like almost 7 days out, 6 or 7 days out, which sucks. I think it's like actually 5. I don't know why I'm saying 6. It's 5 days. So there's a chance I could have hit it in the next, when it catches up from doing the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, like stuff, but I won't know because, I have to wait. But I want to do something for you. I want to do something entertaining. So we'll do an Altaria Ryza stream. And because I'm on vacation next week due to my birthday and I just wanted a break, I'm going to try to maybe do like a no sleep thing running with Altaria Ryza going into maybe this weekend. Maybe it depends on when I hit partner. If I hit partner before then, we'll try to do it before then, but just know that's something I want to do. If not, then we'll do our stereotypical clear obscure stream like normal. The other reason why I don't want to make this too long is particularly because like fucking Switch 2 conversation is going to be the main topic of discussion. And I also do want to make a video for the main channel for this stuff. which by the way, I need to start promoting. For those who don't know, I also stream. My main channel is the Insane Game Freak, where I post like more traditional shorts and videos, whereas this channel is purely live streaming. And I always appreciate the love and support, guys, because it's always appreciated, yo. Don't ever get it twisted. I always appreciate it. It'll always be hard to get partner, but we grinding, boy. Y'all ready with me while I've been grinding this out? When am I playing Trials of Cold Steel? In a cold day in hell. You're 16. Oh, so you're a little bit under halfway. Even congratulations, you're even more 30. Shut up, dog. We don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear any of that, yo. But unfortunately, I do need to dip out of here if I want to do everything I want to do tonight. But I just wanted to kind of get on here and have a quick stream for Switch 2. The Xbox stuff, it is what it is, and PlayStation doesn't put out any games. So what do you want me to say? I get fearful when we talk about this stuff, honestly, because we talk about it so much, yo. Like the PlayStation Xbox stuff never really changes. It's, Xbox doesn't care about consoles and PlayStation isn't putting out any games because they fucked up their money. And that's why it's just crazy when people talk about how evil of a corporation Nintendo is. But I'm like, yeah, but their company they probably have the healthiest work environment out of all three companies right now. Xbox is out here closing studios. PlayStation's out here closing studios and fucking up live service games and killing games before Titanfall 3 will never come out, right? Y'all, that's what fucks me up. You want to talk about how evil Nintendo is, but when's the last time you heard about any internal studio getting closed, people getting fired, disgruntled employees? You don't hear none of that shit. But it's Nintendo that's the problem in gaming. You have missed the fucking point, okay? That's how I feel about it personally. Because we're sitting here talking about the two other companies who have literally ruined people's lives by having them get fired, lose their jobs on a moment's notice. But we're not going to talk about the fact that the company that you supposedly think is so evil and greedy is their work environment is fucking amazing for the most part. Everyone has some weird people in their job. You can't really do anything about that, but they have a very positive work environment. So what's the problem here? I don't get it. Can someone explain it to me? Because I ain't getting it. Nah, but with that being said, in all seriousness, I gotta get out of here. I have to get out of here because I have things to do tonight. But don't worry, boys and girls. I will be back tomorrow for more stuff. Whether it'll probably be Clear Obscura. I might even try to stream that a little bit earlier since I know I'm going to be off for a week. I haven't really made the decision on that yet, but that's a high possibility that I'm just going to stream that earlier. But yeah. I hope, if nothing else, you enjoyed the content, the conversation, the discussion. And like I said, I truly appreciate the support, guys, the love, everything you guys do. I appreciate it. Being in the Discord server, the chats, the streams, putting up with my BS, personal and like gaming. But we're here, and hopefully you're entertained. Because I'm not stopping. All right, I'm right. That's it. I've had too much sugar. Oh, one other thing before I go, I want to show you. Guess what came in the mail today? Guess what came in the mail today? Oh God, this is gonna look bad. Dun da da dun da da dun da da dun da da dun 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 da da dun da da dun da da dun da da dun dun da da dun da da dun da da dun da da dun dun da dun da dun. I'm not getting a cabaca. Alright, I don't know the words, I'm not gonna do it. But it's the first season. The first season, special edition. Because we out here supporting quality. Because the manga's great, and the anime was really good. And I can't wait for part 2 to air, and is it next month, I think? Oh my God, this is not, the green, the screen, the chroma key does not care for this. Oh no. I'm blur. Oh. There we go. No, that's gone. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, Don did it on. It was good stuff. I'm happy. We're living life well. For those who, I have a couple ideas for streams to do in the near future, but for right now, I gotta go because I made prior commitments, and a man does not give up his commitments. We might do a Switch 2, just kind of like going through games and just experiencing them, just so you guys can get kind of a clearer view. I know there's streams that have done that stuff, but I think it might be fun just to like do like maybe like 30 minutes of each game and then jump to another game. It's kind of like a Switch like nostalgia rush. Ooh, I think that's what we'll call it. Switch nostalgia rush. Switch nostalgia rush. Everybody, Switch nostalgia rush. Yay, nay, Switch nostalgia rush. That'd be kind of a cool stream, I think. Jump between like multiple games. And then you guys can write in the comments which games I should pick. Should I do Bayo 3? Should I do Xenoblade Chronicles 2? Should I do ARMS? Should I do Tears of the Kingdom? Pokemon Sword and Shield? What do I do? Whoa, what do I do? I have too much sugar. What I do? I'm so stupid. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm gonna stop. But with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Hope you guys were entertained. I'm gonna do me tonight. And if you guys want some content, you'll get some from me tomorrow. You get some more from me tomorrow. From the Mada. Tamada. Tamada. I'm saying tomorrow, but it sounds like tamada, like tomato. So it's like Tamara. All right, I'm really rambling. I apologize, y'all. Anywho, I will see you Tamara. Anywho, life's a game. Play to win. And I will catch you all later. Peace out. Peso. One peso. Gum no. Golly.